This is a two-part one. This is excavation of concrete that you're going to learn to do, and also estimating a paver patio. What we're going to do is we're going to pretend the customer has this old ugly patio here. We need to rip this out and put in a nice new paver patio. And we have several things that we have to take into consideration before we can estimate a paver patio. So we have these pavers here. You'll need to come up nice and close to see what I'm doing. You're going to kind of zoom in real close to what my hands are doing. This is where your height measurements come in. Remember I was telling you earlier about the fact that each one of these segments on your finger is 1 inch. So that's 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. I need to make sure that I have a minimum of 3 inches of coverage to be able to go underneath this siding here. And so I want to take the low point here, and I'm close, but I'm just right at 2 inches, and I'm kind of looking at the patio here. Okay, now you can step back a little bit. I'm looking at the patio here, and overall it's so up and down and so uneven that I'm going to be going up on the siding and not. So it would be better to take this patio out. Now there's a couple things you have to consider whenever a patio is right next to the house. You want to make sure it's not part of the foundation of the house. We cannot and will not remove concrete that is part of the foundation of the house. You just can't. It's impossible. You will totally mess up the foundation of the house the way that the foundations are poured here in Houston, Texas. So this, luckily, I can see, if you can zoom up nice and close to right in here, you can see this joint right in here. And I see it going all the way around. So I can see that this patio is separate. I can see that this patio is separate from the foundation of the house. So it should pull up pretty easily. Plus it's already cracked in multiple spots here. So it shouldn't take the guys long. So I have every indication that I can remove this patio. Now I just need to figure out the square footage. That's pretty simple if you know your pace, or better yet, if you have your tape measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's about 6 and then 1 foot. If you see that here, 6 paces and then 1 foot. And then here I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now remember how I started with my foot in front of the house here. So I'm going to go ahead and count this 1 foot here. So I'm right at that distance. You'll want to calculate up the square footage, what it is. If you want to take off a couple of square feet here on the corner, you can, because this one is rounded. That's fine, but you can just keep it nice and simple if you want to too. Then essentially, let's just pretend this is going to be a square patio. So then we just go back in. You're going to need to estimate out breaking out the concrete, plus we have to excavate an additional, to match with that existing one, we might need to excavate down an additional inch to make sure that we cover that. And then price in the new pavers. You're also going to need a delivery fee for the pavers, and you'll need a disposal fee for the pavers. So don't forget the delivery fee and the disposal fee. The good news is we're going back in with the patio relatively the same shape, so we really won't have to adjust any irrigation. But if we're putting in a new patio, or we're extending out beyond our area, then we're going to need to make sure that we have an irrigation adjustment allowance as well too, whether it's 1 or 2 zones depending on where the patio goes. So whether it's replacing an existing one or putting in a new one, you need to make sure you account for the excavation, the disposal fees, the irrigation, and then the new patio whenever you're pricing all that together. I think that's it. Oh, the only other exception is if we can overlay a patio. If we can overlay a patio, that's great. You don't have to charge in any of this excavation. With the 3 inches, we have 1 inch of sand and 2 inch of pavers. So if we have 3 inches of clearance, we could just easily come in here and lay this super fast, and it saves them a lot of money. So that's really good, and it saves them a lot of mess. I think that's everything. Okay, stop that one.